time and ask me for counsel, ask me for advice. And surely the amount of people who come to me for spiritual direction because I've had life experiences. Married couples who come to me because I've had marital problems in my life, all right? So I don't know if that answers your question, Peter, but you know, I think that we do have a different perspective, and there's many, many late life vocations in the diocese now, and I really think that they do have something to bring to the table and can be mentors in many, many ways. The lukewarmness in terms of this issue, I spoke about this before. It's an absolute fear of what's going to happen in the back of the church after the Mass. That's what's going on there. It's not necessarily a concern about the collect. We always hear that, right? Oh, it's all about money. No, it's not about money. It's not about money. We pastors don't sit there and say, if I give a pro-life homily, that my collections may go down by 100 or 150 bucks a week or something like that. No, it's personal. It's personal. I mean, priests are humans, and the last thing they want is to confront or have to be confronted by a parishioner they've upset. That they've upset. And we do take that stuff to heart. So again, one of the things that I think are very important is, and I gave you my cards, my contact information, have any priest or deacon get in touch with me, and I'm going to tell them one thing and one thing only. Understand that the people in your pews are wounded. You need to address the woundedness first. You need to talk about mercy and healing, not judgment, but loving. Right? And once you do that, you will get everyone on your side, and then we can talk about our little brothers and sisters that are dying in the womb. So it's interesting because in the pro-life movement, there's a movement right now to get back to, after years and years and years, getting away from the focus on the dying babies to the wounding of women, because that is the easier issue to talk about, right? For instance, after the videos came out, what was the first thing that happened after the videos came out? Students for Life did rallies that were rallies for women betrayed. Right? And then Protest PP did protests that were 10 times larger than the rallies because they focused on the babies. The focus always needs to be ultimately on the babies. But if you are approaching this issue with a new audience, we really need to address the wounded in the pews. Think about the percentage of people who have been wounded who are in the pews. 60 million abortions, 1 out of every 3 pregnancies end in abortion, even higher in some demographics, right? What percentage of the people in the pews have been wounded directly or indirectly by abortion? 20%, 30%, maybe upwards to 40%. 2 out of 5 is not a fantastic number. All right, well, that could be a lot of people in a 1,000-person parish, right? So we need to address that. I want to talk to you today about something that's very, very important, how we're all wounded by abortion. And I will tell you, I'm not here to judge those who have had abortions. I'm here to love you. Love you. And that there's help available and you don't have to suffer. Rachel's Vineyard, silent no more. Right? You men, stand up and be men. That's what the women want to hear. Most women have been let down by their man, and that's why they're wounded, the sin of Adam. So if the priests address men, I need you to be men. And if you've been affected by abortion, maybe you can think about, pray about, looking up the woman that's been wounded, like I did. But these are the types of things where you will get those who are wounded by abortion not only neutralized, on your side. On your side. And Pope Paul II in Evangelium Vitae says that if we can mobilize, if we can get everyone that's been wounded by abortion healed and mobilized, which is what Silent No More is about, and Rachel's Vineyard is all about, this will be the pushing, right, the tipping point, right, the last wave, the tidal wave to end this. And that's absolutely true. Slowly but surely it's happening. So, hope that answered your question. Yes?
You know how EFN once a year there's a meet and greet, like the tickets are free, like this year there was in Ontario? Could something be developed with a program where it's almost like a round table of all different facilities and they speak about pro-life or about abortion? You're going to restart meetings worldwide.
Well, you're talking about like on TV, a weekend symposium or something like that. We have pro-life leaders on EWTN, so you have the exposure. Yeah, I think that's an idea. Why don't you write a letter to Doug Keck and suggest it? Yeah, do that.
I'll say, Father Imbarrato told me to write to you.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I think I'm in their good graces.
They have those at for 40 Days for Life. Sean Carney has the web now thing.
Yeah, but he's talking about the power of TV, right? So, I mean, think about the fact that there's, you can watch on TV pro-life leaders in some type of symposium format, and even maybe a call-in format, right? Where people can call in just like this and have different pro-life leaders talk, all right, about priests. How do we interact with priests? How do we interact with bishops, right? Maybe even have a bishop on the panel. Yes, there are many, many pro-life bishops in this country. Yes, there are, okay? Many, many pro-life priests. In all fairness, and I said this about Father Paul. When I was a pastor, look, I almost had a nervous breakdown because of not only the problems that my son was having in his marriage and his family, all right, that eventually led to his suicide, all right, but also running a parish, it really restricts your ability to spend time doing pro-life work. It really, really does. You cannot underestimate. I think inherently you understand that pastors and all parish priests are very busy. Yes, I mean, probably beyond comprehension how busy they are. I was very, very blessed to be able to do pro-life activism while I was a parish priest, but it did take a toll on me on a couple of occasions where I had to step back and, like Jesus did, all right, going into the desert for 40 days. All right, one more question. Yes, yes. So the greatest challenges are us, all right, meaning the pro-life leadership, I think. We are incredibly divided. And so you have an understanding of what types of things, Father, divide us. Well, for instance, the age-old debate over incrementalism versus all or nothing. This is a very important question. Monica Miller, when I was in the seminary, said, and she didn't think she was going to get an answer, she goes, there's been a debate from the beginning of the pro-life movement that has divided the movement. All right, can anybody tell me what that debate is? And I said, yes, incrementalism versus all or nothing. And she said, what's your name? I said, you know, Brother Imbarrato, a seminarian from Archdiocese of Santa Fe. Because I've always been a student of the pro-life movement. All right, all or nothing. There's some people who feel that politically, right, we should not be dabbling in incremental legislation. All right, in Evangelium Vitae, the Holy Father said there's nothing immoral about saving as many babies as you can until you can save them all. That's incrementalism, right? Trying to save as many babies as you can, all right, until you can save them all. But there is a lot of people who have a feeling that, you know, 20-week abortion bans, all right, or other types of incremental legislation are immoral. So there's been a debate that's been going on for years and years and years. Here's my answer to that question, all right? The abolitionists, right, abolish human abortion, they are staunch abolitionists and all or nothing. And it really, I answer them this way. It's unfair to complain about incrementalism in the area of political legislation when we're all incrementalists. Right? We are all incrementalists. Every abolitionist is an incrementalist. What do I mean? Meaning that, all right, until every single one of us puts our lives on the line to save babies, we are saying that we are looking to save babies incrementally. I'm not doing absolutely everything that I can do today to save babies. I'm not getting in front of the babies and the abortionists. So I'm incrementally working to end abortion, right? Right? So to say that it's unfair to be incremental in terms of political policy or legislation, I say, look it. There's nobody all or nothing in the pro-life movement. Because all or nothing would mean all or nothing. That every day we're going to go out and we're going to risk our lives, right, to save as many babies as we can, right? So that's a fallacy, right? I think it's just, again, something the evil one uses to divide us. The other big debate is what? The use of abortion victim imagery versus not using it. That somehow, in certain situations, certain places, it's not right, it's not ethical, it's not moral. Well, I tell the people, if it's not right in certain situations, how can it be right in other situations? It's either immoral or it's not. The use of these pictures, the use of these images is either immoral or it's not. If it's immoral, then we should never be using them. And if it's moral, then nobody should be able to restrict anyone who feels moved by the Holy Spirit to use these images. There is a problem in the movement where people get into their mind that my ministry is more important than your ministry. Or somehow your ministry makes my ministry more difficult. Right? This is nonsense. One of the things we need to do in the movement is understand that everyone in the movement, the default position has to be that you're moved by the Holy Spirit, you're moved by the Holy Spirit, you're moved. Everyone in this room is moved by the Holy Spirit to do pro-life work in a way that they have discerned the Holy Spirit is leading them. So for me to try and control somebody else in terms of what they do or don't do, or complain about their tactics, right? Or complain about their ministry, or your ministry is more important than my ministry, whatever. I am in actuality trying to control the Holy Spirit. And I will never do that. And I have preached about this, and I think it's one of the reasons why a lot of people follow me. Project Defending Life in Albuquerque, tons of people follow me, because I'm always telling them, don't worry about what other people are doing or not doing. Do to the max what the Holy Spirit is calling you to do. That's it. All right? Or you're going to get distracted by this stuff. All right? So those are the two things that are creating the most division. The most hopeful thing, and I mentioned this, you weren't here last week, this weekend, there was a meeting of what are really, I consider, true activists, people who were involved in the Operation Rescue movement, going back to the late 80s, early 90s. People who, like me, who believe that we need to come up with a decisive strategy to end preborn child killing. And I've been talking about this for 20 months since I've been a national leader, that we need to have a decisive strategy, talk about decisive strategies, whether it's a national tax strike, right, where we decide we're not going to pay any taxes because our tax money is going to kill preborn babies, or a national shutdown, a national strike like Lech Walesa and Solidarity in Poland used national strikes to shut the country down, to get the communists to pack their bags and leave. Come up definitely with a time frame. Yes, we're going to end preborn child killing in 5 years or less, and then come up with strategies to focus on how we're going to do that, always peacefully and prayerfully. The point is that these are the types of things that are now being discussed, and I think that that is the most hopeful sign that I have seen in the last couple of years. All right, so that's it. All right, I'm done. You can tell my voice is almost done. All right, I probably have enough voice left for the prayers of consecration later. Listen, I got to tell you, I love you guys very much. This has been a weekend that I will remember for the rest of my life, and may I have a long, active, and healthy life. Jesus, my lips to your ears, all right, but your will be done, not mine. So I can't thank you enough for giving me this experience.
I have to thank my biological mother not aborting me. I was adopted into a family. Too bad we couldn't do commercials or something on EWTN or Boston Capital or anything, trying to promote adoptions. You know, instead of going to abortion clinic, think about it, pray about it, give your child to someone who might really want to love it.
Look, I agree with you 100%. One of the problems that I have seen over the years, and I have turned a lot of moms around, all right, and you know, from killing their babies. I mean, hundreds, maybe even thousands over the years, either directly or indirectly through Project Defending Life, St. Gerard's, okay? And we get these gals, all right, in and show them an ultrasound, all right? We show them their babies, or we settle them down and stop, get them from making this emotional decision to really thinking this out. And I will tell you an awful lot, a high percentage of these women, because of the situation they find themselves in, that were really leading them to abort the child, should lead them to giving their child up for adoption, and they don't. They don't. Too few of them do, right? Because they're looking for unconditional love. That's one of the problems, right? And so I encourage them, after things settle down, right? Sit down, always give them the talk about, have you considered adoption? There are many loving families out there, open adoption, closed adoption. The overwhelming majority of them do not. And very often, too often, sometimes bring the baby into the world in a situation, all right, that is not optimal. Now, that's not an excuse to kill the baby. She made the right choice, but you're right, but how to figure out how to get these women to give these babies up for adoption, not only, all right, killing them, and this is, I mean, it is crazy. And how many sidewalk counselors we have here, people with sidewalk counsel? Not too many, but I bet you've experienced this, right? And I have an adopted child, right? So I used to say, you know, Mom, please, I already have an adopted child at home. Please, I will adopt your child, right? Oh, no, I could never give my baby up for adoption. As they're walking into the door, right? That was the first sign to me early on when I was sidewalk counseling. Forgive them, Father, they know not what they do. Because if they could give me an answer like that they couldn't give their child up for adoption, but they could go in there and give their child up to death, that told me these women were disconnected. This was not a rational decision, all right? And I stopped using that completely. Stopped using that and realized you talk about adoption after you get them out of the emotional state into a rational state.